welcome back to the Firepod spot. Today we hopefully see some sharper and nicer quality on the video. If not, then soon we shall, because I've got some new software that I'm playing around with. So yeah, let me know if it's a noticeable difference and if you like it. Today we shall be doing a pod review, and it's actually going to be a bit of a special one because it will be the first pod harvested out of my chili garden for 2016. It is a yellow Scotch Bonnet, Ministry of Agriculture strain. This one is officially endorsed by the Jamaicans as being sort of the gold standard of making hot sauces and whatnot. So that should be quite nice. They come in red or in yellow, and they're usually much larger than this. But the plant that this came from was fruiting while it got moved, so it kind of stunted the growth. Won't affect the flavour, it just means the pods are smaller. Now, before I get cracking on that, I have heard people debating whether or not Scotch bonnets and habaneros are actually different things. Well, I have on hand a Caribbean red habanero to compare basically a difference between them. So, there's our Scotch bonnet. You'll notice how it's got that sort of. Try and get my fingers out of the way. There you go. It's got that sort of squashed in sort of look to it. And yeah, it's got the lovely, lovely little grooves. This one's a beautiful specimen. And underneath, you'll notice how it's sort of dimpled in, and you've got your three lobes sort of coming off there. That's classic Scotch bonnet appearance. And like I said, these things vary in size. This one's a little undersized, but you can get ones that are like, size of golf balls and stuff. This, the habanero, you'll notice, yes, it has the grooves down the side, but notice how it's a much taller pod. And on the underside, it's not so much dimpled in with the, like with the lobes sort of shrouded like that. They're actually quite distinct and come out like that. That's the big difference between the two. Here, I'll put them side by side. So see how you can see how that's squashed in on the Scotch bonnet, whereas the habanero is not. That's how you could tell the difference between the two. That plus the fact that habaneros can be hotter than Scotch bonnets, and apparently Scotch bonnets are nice and sweet and yeah, quite flavourful. But that being said, these things vary from specific strain to specific strain, but that's the main way you can tell the difference. All right, so that being said, I'll cut this thing open and I'll take a little picture of the inside for everybody to see. So pull the stems off. Wow, that is juicy. Very juicy. I don't know how well this is going to show, but there we are. Some nice wetness to that. Some of that is actual like liquid juice as such. Well, it's all liquid, but some of it's like watery juice, and some of it is a little bit of oil. In here you can, there it is. You can see a big droplet of the juice there, and then there's sort of a slick that comes up the top. The way you can tell the difference is that when you got it on a bit of metal like that, the oils will just sort of slick over it, whereas the watery stuff sort of beads up. This has got a little bit of both. That smells good. It's really nice. Alright, I'll take that picture of the inside for everybody to have a squiz at. Beautiful. Alright, now just going to cut a couple seeds out of this because I really want to save some of these. Because if that tastes anywhere near as good as it smells, then this thing is well worth growing more of. So, and no, just for those who may have heard the myth and might even believe in it, taking seeds out of it does not reduce the heat, by the way. That's, I'll try and show you. Up here, just in there, that white tissue there, it's probably really blurry and out of focus, but you get the idea. The white section in the core of it there, that's the placenta of it. That's where all the heat comes from, because it produces all the oils and the capsaicinoids. The seeds actually by themselves don't really add heat at all. They're more of a they add a bit of a nutty flavour, but that's about it. Like they don't add heat. It's actually because they tend to be attached to placental tissue that people think that they add the heat. So just pull a couple more seeds out of that. Beautiful. Because yeah, this smells fantastic. It's yeah, it's like a really sweet, fruity sort of smell to this thing, with just a little hint of perfume. Just a little hint. It's like an habanero-y perfume. But yeah, it's making my mouth water. It smells so good. So yeah, really, really hope this thing tastes as good as that smells. Alright. So there's me pod, ready to go. And I bought the glass of milk just in case, but nah, it's not going to be that bad. It's going to be hot, but it should be right. Alright, guys. It's nice and crunchy. It's got a bit of a sting. It might actually make. Yeah, but it is. A bit surprised at that. Wow. Okay. I was not expecting a hiccup as much as this. That's odd. Uh, because the burn's not that bad. Oh man, those hiccups are violent though. It's mostly on the tongue, which is good. It's a little bit just on the top of the throat. Oh, but those hiccups are intense. Just trying not to hiccup too much so I could talk. Because the burn's fine. It's it's about habanero heat. It's okay. Like for non-chili heads, it's gonna be a bit harsh, but it's fine. Yeah, I think those are stopped now. Well, I did not expect the hiccup quite as much as that. That's weird. Because normally it's the super hots that get me like that. Yeah, maybe it's just a little bit hotter than habaneros now. It's starting to build up, but it's not unbearable. It's like a glowing heat. It's a steady, slow build and glow sort of heat to it. It's not this sharp, vicious thing that rips your mouth apart. So for me, that's actually fine. That's pretty good. It has made me tear up a bit though. That's really odd, because like I said, I'm handling that fine. Um, all right, enough waffle. The flavour on that thing now, it was actually quite sweet and fruity. It's had a little bit of that habanero um, sort of flavour to it, which for those who don't know, it's sort of a slightly perfumey, fruity sort of taste. Um, but this thing's fresher and sweeter tasting than habaneros are, with a bit less on the perfume. Um, yeah, it's not bad at all. It sort of develops out to it's a very rounded, mellow sort of flavour on these ones. I could definitely see these going well as sauce. It's actually making me drool. That's weird. I can't get over that. All right. Yeah, no, it's quite tasty actually. Um, the sweetness I have tasted sweeter. Like you get that off like things like bell peppers are much sweeter than these, but compared to an habanero, it is much sweeter again. It's like comparing a bell pepper to a jalapeno and saying that's how much sweeter it is than your basic habaneros. And yeah, so that's what you're looking at for sweetness, sort of relative sweetness. Um, compared to a bell pepper, it's probably about half the sweetness of a really sweet variety of bell. Again, it depends on your bell. Um, but yeah, they're actually quite nice. They're it's the fresh crispness to them, and they're quite crunchy too. They're really nice. I actually enjoyed that texture as well. Um, the juices and oils just, yeah, there's so much in them, and maybe that's why I'm hiccuping so much. It's probably not the intensity; it's just the dose I received of stuff. The oils and the juice all at once. All the hot stuff just pow. Um, as far as the heat's concerned, it's just starting to peak out now. It's that point where it's sort of plateaus. It's not getting worse. It's not really going away per se just yet. So you can tell that's where it peaked. Um, yeah. So that's been more than 5 minutes. I'll just wash that out of my mouth because the flavor's gone away, and I don't need the heat. Yeah, and that's all it took. Just a quick sip, and it's gone. It's it's quite tolerable and quite manageable. So recommendations again, sauces definitely. Salads, yeah, yeah, put them in salads. That's nice. Um, but yeah, I could definitely see why Jamaicans love these sauces. That's really nice. Um, yeah, recommendations for non-chili heads out there. Go easy on them. Have a little bit, but don't go too crazy because they're pretty strong. For non-chili heads. And you don't need much to get the flavour. Just try and stop that drooling. It's because the oils they get into your mouth and they deliver the capsaicinoids, and specific ones have different effects on you. This one has a lot of the ones that, for me personally, it makes me drool bad. Um, like way more than even some of the super hots. Like I wasn't drooling as much as this with some of the 7 pods. So that says something there. So yeah, it's all in the specific chemicals that are present as to what they're going to do to you. It's not just hot, not hot. Um, so yeah, yeah. So like I said, non-chili heads are going to have trouble with this. So don't shove a whole pod like that. But if you cook with it, I think they'll enjoy it quite a lot because it's got a nice flavour. You don't need much to deliver that. Like my mouth got coated in that. Um, just from the first bite. It literally, like the first bite when I bit into it and got through the like that little bit of skin, like even though it's cut and I could still taste what's bleeding out of it, when I bit into it, it just exploded in a flavour in my mouth. So there is a lot of oil and a lot of flavour in these things, which is really good. And because that heat is manageable like that, like you could just kill it just with a glass of milk like that, or just a sip of milk. It means that non-chili heads can enjoy a dish like, say, do chicken or fish with them. That would be really, really tasty. They do have. I've got just a tiny bit of a citrusy aftertaste. They're not as citrusy as, say, your ahi lemons or stuff like that. And even some Scotch bonnets have more of the citrusiness, but it's there and it's pleasant. So I think that will go really well with seafood. Say like I said, fish, or maybe do some jerk prawns or something like that with them. That would be quite tasty. All right, so that's my review of that. So yeah, definitely thumbs up. I really enjoyed that thing, and I'm glad to have actually been able to grow them myself. Because even though I sort of cheated and bought a plant that was pre-established, getting the pods to grow and everything, it's fantastic. I actually feel really good about how this season's going to go. So anyway, so that's enough waffling and rambling and going around and around in circles for today. So as always, keep it spicy and stay tuned here. I've got a few more goodies there. There was that Caribbean Red Habanero. I will be chowing down on that a little bit later on. So we'll get to enjoy that. Plus, also I have a Bantam Thimble. It's an ornamental sort of chili that apparently is also used for cooking. I got one of those to play around with, and I've got some other bits and pieces as well. So we'll see what comes out in what order. Work and all that. So until next time, enjoy, keep it spicy as I said, and just be that little bit more responsible than me, unless you're a certified chili head. And I'll catch you all guys on the flip side later on.